We will get started. This is the shibboleth journey. The first thing we need to do. If you haven't, you're welcome to be here. If you're a member, go through Fast Track, take the test, pass test, earn the Fast Track badge. If it's okay for a while, we're going to start going through the short journey lessons. After marking that you've watched 10 journey videos, you earn your journey badge. Those that will be influencers and support team and coaches, you'll have to get your certification by going through the journey videos. You got to know more about nutrition. You got to know more about why shibboleth works and whatnot. So now let's do that anyway, even if you're not going to be an influencer or someone that supports others to get the certification, just go through them anyway. Because once we stop learning, we stop shrinking. You know that old saying, we stop learning, we start grow. If we quit learning, we quit growing. We won't quit growing, right? So if keeping the information, learning top of consciousness, learning how to do what we know, big dividends. Every day matters. Every day counts. So before we get into that shibboleth journey lesson 2 that you're supposed to have earned the Fast Track badge, first, before we go through these, and by the way, we might, in 10 days, we'll be on lesson 8 or something, right? But they're done so that you're really not missing anything. We did where you build upon the principles in Fast Track. Now we're giving information. So you could listen to lesson 8, but only be on lesson 2. And you're not going to get confused. We're teaching just basic general nutrition principles so that we learn why the shibboleth shield is set up the way it is and why it works. The more information you have at your disposal, the better decisions you'll make. I think we just stumbled up on that with Dr. Elizabeth's question in the Fast Track. More information, better decisions. Before we get into that, we finished up the Fast Track talking about red column, yellow column, blue column. So before getting into lesson 2, I want to just refresh everybody's memory there. But by the way, which column of food and combinations can we stay in and we never leave fat burning mode? Red column. Think about that, Jennifer. Think about that, everybody. Yeah, I'm not saying when I eat and get on the bathroom scales that by the weight of whatever I ate, my weight won't be up. But I'm saying over the digestive processing of that, I will probably burn more calories than what was contained in the meal. And I'll never leave fat burning because it was so taxing on my digestive system. I needed a ton of energy to be pulled from fat stores just to break that food down. So red column, and then yellow column is almost as good. And you'll probably feel a little better with a lot of them, not all of them. Like a category 1 by itself, you're going to feel that's taxing. But for example, 1 + 6 + 2, pinto beans, chicken breast, green beans on my 6 to 8 inch plate. Going to be good energy, good macros, but you'll come out of fat burning for a little while. You'll have to use up them pintos. And then you got blue column. That's your taters and your corn and your lima beans and your peas and your long grain rice and all that good stuff. Those are good too. So like if I wanted to have a blue column, like long grain brown rice, a 1/4 cup of that with some shibboleth approved yum sauce, shrimp and scallops, and some broccoli. That would work. That would be delicious, right? I could even make me some approved kung pao sauce and have me happy family right there at home. So, but now I'm going to come out of fat burning for a while, but I won't get so much insulin provocation that I can't get back into fat burning pretty quick. So that's good too. Stephanie has a random question. Yeah, go ahead, Stephanie, and I'm happy to answer it. I saw a Facebook post where someone fixed a protein shake by mixing fat-free Fairlife and sugar-free chocolate powder. Would that work? It would work. If you're using approved protein shake, we prefer, unless you're using GC control, that you use water. But if you use fat-free Fairlife milk, keep those calories under 300, you'll be okay with that. So that will work. And it counted a meal. Need to count it a meal. Okay, so before we get into the lesson, let me show you. When we say red column, this happened recently, and it's happened for years. Travis, that looks like math. And I didn't do good with math in school. Has anybody else ever felt that? Like that looks confusing and that looks like math. But see this red column? It's really simple, okay? It's really simple. Once we learn how to combine these foods, keep in mind, these are exercise on a plate, y'all. Exercise on a plate. Let me give you an example of the book. It's just a few of the meal ideas. And you tell me that these aren't doable if you really wanted to get your life back. So what I did in the book, I take and I list them by categories so that you get examples. It's meant to be as much a teaching aid as anything else. Category 1 and 2 in MCT, grilled chicken and mixed green salad in the recipe. Is there anybody here that likes grilled chicken and mixed greens? You just ate exercise. I want you to think like that. Let's change you didn't just eat chicken and salad. You just went for a bike ride and it was delicious. Turkey and vegetable stir fry. Anybody that would do that? What's wrong with that? I know we want a casserole, we want mac and cheese, and that tastes good, but we gain weight. Turkey and vegetable stir fry, we eat it, it tastes good, we lose weight. What about this? Spiced pork tenderloin with asparagus. Could you do that? What would be wrong with that? That you just exercised again. Look at all these exercise sessions. Baked salmon with cauliflower rice. Would you do that? Beef and bell pepper kebabs. Would you do that? Grilled turkey.
Yum, yum, yum.
Exactly. Grilled turkey and zucchini skewers. Spicy grilled shrimp with broccoli. Lemon herb chicken with asparagus. Cilantro lime chicken with riced cauliflower. These are all exercise. Tuna and avocado salad. Avocado as the condiment. Egg white spinach omelet. Lemon garlic tilapia with steamed green beans. And it just goes on and on. I tried to prove a point with this book. Then I did meal ideas for 7 and 2. Look at all these meal ideas. All these come from the combinations. Red column, yellow column, blue column. Look, we marked it this way. You cannot go through this book and say that this is a hard program after this. All of it's simple, grocery store bought stuff. Beef and green bean stir fry. Spinach and mushroom salad with hemp seeds. Grilled chicken with hemp seeds and asparagus. Chicken and broccoli stir fry with bell peppers. Beef and shrimp stir fry, yellow column stuff, right? Check it out. Look, it keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps going. It's endless. Endless. So when you're looking at that math, realize that that math represents exercise on a plate. And you can get your life back. People will they will fuss at you if you would just lock it down and rip off the fat burning knob. They would fuss at you and say, oh, you finally give in and went on Ozempic, didn't you? And you could be like, no, I'm exercising 3 times a day. Breakfast for the Father, lunch for the Son, and dinner for the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right. Any questions or comments? Karen has edited it and says she loves the way it's laid out. Appreciate you, Karen. Anybody, any questions or comments? Cheryl said, I have so many people ask me if I'm on meds. Have they asked you, are you sick yet? I still get that. 20 years, people say, Travis, you look sick. And I'm like, well, thank you. Didn't none of y'all tell me that when I was in a size 44? Appreciate y'all, Cheryl. Appreciate you, Cheryl. Good to have Brother Joseph back. Good preacher, brother. We hope so, Will. We hope that we hope we don't have any extra, but we probably will. I think we've sold about 150 books. Had 800 before last August, before everything turned upside down, more than 800 requests. But because of what's happened, we've had about 150. So I'll probably want to try to get about 300 books. I don't want to get 1,000. They may sit around. Stephanie, good morning, team one, for being okay with me having a Huddle meal on day 1 for my birthday. I didn't need it. I had an IMF day with a salad for EE1 and went to Black Angus for dinner and had a small steak with side salad and green beans. Focused on what I could have and not the bread, ice cream, and everything else I couldn't. Just enjoyed my family. And you know what? I'm 2 pounds down this morning. Praise the Lord. I love it. Great job. And Brother Will, I was just reminded by a team member that we're probably easily going to sell 1,000 because I haven't even sent an email out to the 40,000 people. I didn't know that. That just made my day. That's a win. That's a victory. Thanks for telling me that. I thought we'd already did that. That's good to know. I feel a lot better. Cheryl said, I had a pastor asked if I was well the other day. He said, I have lost so much weight. He was worried about me. I said, no, I'm working in my health and wellness with Faithfully Fed. Amen. Amen. Unto the Lord, our reasonable service, isn't it?
Lisa, could you post a link to pre-order the book? I'm not sure I know where that's at.
Thank you, Coach Dawson. Okay, I'm going to get into our lesson 2, what we've been doing, or what we started doing. Instead of being willy-nilly with our lessons, we start the endless journey. It's an endless journey. When we quit learning, we'll quit losing weight. So we're going to our video library. Oh, I got to stop it again. We're going to video library and the journey. Oh, I should go this way. Dashboard. Dashboard's easier. Dashboard, journey. Journey videos. Yesterday we did this one and we marked it as watched. You want to mark it as watched? If you like this video, it will put it in your favorite section. If you heart it, I'm going to number 2, and we're going to get started, and we'll be commenting on the video. Here we go. Welcome back to Shibboleth Journey lesson number 2. We talked about the 2 types of nutrients, macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are the things that our body needs more of to preserve muscle, to provide energy to the body, immediate energy in the form of, say, carbohydrate. Micronutrition is the nutrition that we need less of that comes from the macronutrients and allows for us to have a healthy immune system, a healthy gut allows us to live longer, to be healthy, to prosper, you should say. So we've got macronutrients and micronutrients. In Fast Track, we learned about the 4 macronutrients: protein, carbohydrate, fat, and water. These macronutrients we need in a pretty abundant supply, an adequate supply. Your body cannot produce on its own. Okay, we're going to stop there for a minute. So it's telling us that that guy is saying macro means big, micro means little. So little, this is where absorption plays a critical role. So little means vitamin A, B, D, C, A, B, C, D, E, K, minerals, aminos. Those are little. They play vital function. They play a vital role. These are all the spark plugs in the engine. It's not the fuel. It's not the gasoline. Micronutrients aren't. Carbohydrates and fat, that's the gasoline. Those are macro. Those are the big things. So when we're talking about macros and micros, and when needing macros, if you follow the shibboleth shield, you'll always get in adequate macros. However, if you're wanting to drill down, then the first thing you have to do is figure out what your goal is. What is your situation and what is your goal? For example, and there's a new feature in the partner section and Faithfully Fit section where you can determine this number, but you first have to know your goal. Is your goal weight loss? Well, if it's weight loss, by default, it's muscle preservation. I don't even want to work with someone trying to lose muscle. So weight loss and muscle preservation, or maintenance and muscle preservation, or bulking, gaining muscle and trying to limit the amount of fat you gain during the time you're putting on muscle. One requires a calorie deficit, the other requires a calorie surplus. Since protein is the most important macronutrient outside of water, we first look at that, and then we fill in the gaps with carbs and fat depending on our goal. So if you're using a RIMFO scale, or you're using calipers, or you're using the assessment online, you will find out what your lean body weight is. Typically for a woman, it's going to be 100 to 120 pounds. Like if you took all the fat off of your body, that's your lean body weight. We want to support that lean body weight with adequate protein. So for example, if I've got a 200-pound lady and we take all the fat off of her body and her goal is weight loss, she's probably going to be 100 pounds. If bone, muscle, sinew, tendons, ligaments, organs, probably around 100 pounds. So as long as she's getting a 0.5 gram of protein per pound of lean body weight, she's going to be fine, which is 50 grams. 50 up to 100 grams is going to be adequate. And the shibboleth shield does that beautifully. The only time that you'll struggle getting in that protein would be like Cindy. Cindy's trying to do OMAD, 1 meal a day. So for her, it's very important that her 1 meal a day, that we bolster it up with some additional protein to make sure she's getting that 50 to 60 grams of protein, which is easy to do. But let me stop there. Does that make sense that we need to build our plate around protein if our goal is weight loss and muscle preservation? Any questions about that?
Well, if you'll remember, you had to explain to me that, because when I think in grams, I just think of throwing something on the scale and it's X amount of grams that it weighs, or ounces or whatever. And so there may be others out there like me that are not thinking about how many grams of protein there is in a chicken breast. They may just be thinking about how many grams something weighs on a scale. Yeah. So, and I may be the only one out there that didn't understand that. But if not, you might want to explain that. Sorry, I'm trying to park.
Yeah, keep in mind there are 4 calories in a gram of protein. Those 4 calories break down into aminos. A steak has both protein and fat. So 4-ounce chicken breast is half the calories of a 4-ounce steak. A 4-ounce steak will take up twice the space on the plate as does 4 ounces of chicken because it's more dense in fat. When we're looking at calories and something says it's 20 grams of protein, how many calories from protein would that be? This is how you find out if they're lying to you on the labels too. If something's 20 grams of protein, how many calories from protein is there?
80.
80. So think about it this way. If you're looking at, you pick up some chicken breast, does chicken breast have carbs? Shouldn't. Does chicken breast have fat? Almost zero. Maybe a gram, but almost zero. So if it says 20 grams of protein, but the calories say 200, is something wrong with that chicken? Something wrong with that chicken, because there should only be about 80, 90 calories in there. Do you see where I'm going with that? You will find lots of lies and misprints if you start understanding how to reverse engineer those labels. Did you get that? Shirley said it could be marinated in sugar, right? And it should say, typically, if it's marinated in sugar, it'll have carbs. Where they get you, though, is if the calories, if it's not marinated in anything, and you look at that label and it's 20 grams of protein only, but it's 200 calories, they've probably put starch in there. So that's where you have to be careful. Just junk like that. But it's just interesting. You don't see that as much later because the companies can, now because companies can get shut down, but I still find it. It's still interesting. Yeah, breast with rib meat will have a higher calorie content. So back to what Cindy was talking about, just because something weighs something doesn't mean that you're getting all of that in grams of protein. Basically, a gram of protein is 4 calories. And if I'm looking at 100 grams of chicken breast, that is 400 calories. That's basically 4 servings of chicken breast. Does that make sense? There's 4 calories in a gram of protein, 4 calories in a gram of carbohydrate, 9 calories in a gram of fat. Big difference in how all of those break down. Protein almost cannot be eaten in a way that it ever converts to fat. Carbohydrate can be eaten in a way that it converts to fat and causes insulin. Fat is just fat, and if it's not used as an energy source, it's going to be stored as fat. Anytime that you take carbohydrate as an energy source and pair it with fat, you're going to store the fat because your body doesn't need it as an energy source. Does that make sense? If I put long chain fats with simple or complex carbohydrate, my body is going to store the fat. Period. It doesn't need it. It's like too much energy. So I'm just going to store it. It's already in the form of fat. So I'm going to store it and I'm going to burn the carbohydrate as my energy source. Does that help anybody just think about it differently? Anytime you're looking at a plate, if you can identify what's fat, where it gets tricky is eating out, because chicken breast is not chicken breast eating out. Thank you, Joy. Chicken breast is not chicken breast eating out. What are they cooking into it? It might as well be a steak, but it's not as good as a steak because they cooked in pure fat, as my grandma would say, pure DO fat. So they cook into it pure DO fat. You with me? So it's a category 4 if I'm eating out. Gotta watch what they're cooking into this stuff. All right, back to it. any of those macronutrients. You have to get those from the food that you consume. There are micronutrients that your body can manufacture itself based upon the quality of the macros that you're getting in. Micronutrition is your vitamins and your minerals. You need a certain balance of macro to micronutrients to be healthy. So when we're consuming processed foods, we're getting our macronutrition in, because even processed food has an abundant supply of protein, carbohydrate, fat, and water. But the reason processed foods aren't very healthy, like white bread, white rice, white pasta, is because when we consume them and we get very little blood flow to the digestive system, I mean, that's an entirely... Okay, what the author... Hey, Dan, y'all please share this with people. I think it's... Y'all agree this has been what people have been waiting on a while for us to get structure? So bring them with you. I hope you're learning stuff. Believe it or not, I've went through universities and tried to upgrade my knowledge and all of that stuff. And what we're getting here is much better, much more practical, usable. But what the author is saying here is we are overfed, but starving to death in our country. Does the evidence bear out that we're overfed, but we're not getting nutrition? We're not getting nutrition. Does the evidence bear that out? When we're the most disease-laden, the only reason people are living as long as they do here is because of medical science. We treat a sick culture, but we're the sickliest people on the planet Earth. But yet we're overfed. We're just not getting the nutrition. So what he's saying here, what Travis, I'm saying here, is that we're getting the macronutrients. We're getting our Oscar Mayer ham and turkey. We're getting the macros, but we're getting those macros in a way where, number one, there's so much infusion of preservatives and starch. We're ruining our gut health. We're not getting the micronutrition in a way that it would be normally found in nature, because what we're eating so synthetic and nutrient depleted. We're not getting our vitamins, our minerals, our essential amino acids. Our bodies, with all those switches inside of it, cannot operate, cannot perform correctly. Our ghrelin levels, our leptin levels, our dopamine, none of that is working properly because we're not getting the micronutrition in a way that our body can even recognize it. Most of the vitamins that we take to try to fill in our nutrient gaps are so synthetic, it can even provoke an autoimmune response. You have to get into, if you're going to have a man-made version, you have to get it in a way where it mimics nature. If it's not biologically identical to the way your body would find it in nature, you're not going to absorb it. So even if you're taking vitamins, you're not going to be very successful in filling those nutrient gaps. You need micros as much as you need the macros. So we want to eat organic. We want to eat grass-fed. We want to eat wild-caught. We want to eat healthier foods. Did y'all read where some states are now legislating? Are they going to ban fake meat or not? Did you know that they're printing meat now? Did y'all know that? They're trying to get rid of the cattle industry, and they're going to 3D print meat. Have y'all read? Go read. You don't have to believe me. Your steak is not going to be steak for long. It's going to be fake. It's going to be mimicked. It's going to be synthetic. It's getting crazy. And you're going to have, if you want your real grass-fed beef, you're going to have to pay an arm and a leg for it. We better figure this stuff out. Thank goodness I don't eat a lot these days, so I won't mind paying a little more for my food because I don't eat as much. My grocery bill will still be lower. But anyway, grass-fed, organic, wild-caught vitamins and mineral supplements that you actually absorb. You tell me what's more expensive, a $20 bottle of vitamins that hurt your body, or a $45 box of vitamins that help your body. You know, you've got to start thinking about things like those, that because your body needs micronutrition and you're probably not getting it. A different lesson itself, but very little blood flow going to the digestive system to break them down, because the processed foods are what we call pre-digested. They're basically already digested before you consume them. The body has to do very little to no breakdown to extract any nutrition out of those processed foods that have the macros in them. But there's almost zero micronutrition. That's where you get that term empty calories. So white bread, white pasta, white rice, Coca-Cola, all those, and all of their kinfolk, very, very little micronutrition. So let's take a look at long grain brown rice, which is a category 3 in Fast Track, versus white rice. So your long grain brown rice, category 3, it has the bran and the germ that surrounds the endosperm. Ew. But that's what you got going on there. So when you consume that category 3 complex carbohydrate, you consume it, blood flow goes to the digestive system to extract any micronutrition from this unprocessed long grain brown rice. And your body has to work a little bit, and by the way, the more you have to digest a food, the less insulin response you'll end up having, because did y'all catch that the life and health of the flesh is in the blood? Long grain brown rice, if I eat that, am I stopping efficient fat burning mode? If I eat long grain brown rice? For a little while. Yes. Who said yes? I'm proud of you. Cindy. It does for a little while. There is about 120 calories in a quarter cup, say 100 calories in a quarter cup of long grain brown rice. 100 calories, most of it is carbohydrate. So we're going to stop for an hour or two. Now, if we eat it by itself, we're going to stop for up to 2 days. Why? What was the difference? If I eat the long grain brown rice by itself, I'm not just going to burn through the fuel. I'm not going to burn fat for a day or two. Why?
There's nothing to slow it down.
Lauren said it, the insulin. So if I eat it by itself, it's right. It's going to break down. It's going to break down pretty rapidly because it's a grain. And I'm getting the insulin activity. If I take long grain brown rice and I have chicken breast and green beans, I slow it down more. I'm going to get a lot less insulin, and my body's going to use those calories from the long grain brown rice, but my insulin levels stay low, and I get a good steady source of energy for a little while, and then hopefully we'll go back into fat burning. But the real key is I got less insulin because I added that chicken and I added those green beans or broccoli to it. Now, let's take the long grain brown rice, which is actually more calories than white rice. Let's take it off the plate and let's put white rice with the chicken and the broccoli. Can I get the same good result?
No.
No. What did I just eat? I really ate what when I ate white rice?
Sugar.
It was. And it's actually called endosperm. Ugh. We just ate mush. So the long grain brown rice, they stripped the bran, they stripped the germ, which required the slowdown in my blood, in my digestion. And now the endosperm breaks down so fast, all the chicken and the broccoli in the world ain't going to help us. Do you see that? It's like shooting up with sugar. There's no processing required. At least with long grain brown rice, there was some bodily processing required, which required energy. Do y'all see that? But if I have endosperm, it's not that you can't even look at it like you ate it. Before it even hits the stomach, it's already gone. It's done turned into, it's instantaneous boom. The whiter the bread, the quicker we're dead. The whiter the rice, the worse it is. So no, stay away from that stuff. Does that make sense, y'all? Your body's having to work, so it's slower digestion, less blood sugar rise, less insulin. So as your body is trying to break down this long grain brown rice, everything is just more optimal from a fat bus perspective. And you will eventually, your body will get to those vitamins and minerals and extract them and be able to use them and propagate them as the body needs. When we consume white rice, processed rice, that's very much pre-digested, the bran and the germ that the body has to break through to get to the endosperm. That's where the nutrients in rice. All you're eating when you eat white rice is endosperm. And you get an instantaneous blood sugar rise, a fast one. And you know what that means? A very fast and rapid fat bus on the scene, ready to pick up and gobble up fat and store the fat. When we consume a plate full of long grain brown rice, now you shouldn't do that by itself when you're trying to lose weight. But when you're consuming that long grain brown rice, it's not equivalent to like 30 teaspoons of pure sugar. Now, Travis, there's no sugar listed on the rice package in the nutritional profile. No, but it metabolizes as sugar because of that endosperm. And your body's having to break that down, that bran and that germ, and get to it, slower blood sugar rise, less insulin. But we put white rice on that plate. Processed, disgusting endosperm. There's no blood flow going to the digestive system. It's like shooting up with sugar. And I know you look on a white rice package and it says 0 sugar, but it's metabolizing it just like sugar would. Worse, it's very high on the glycemic index. And by the way, just a little side bonus note, white rice doesn't have any flavor. There's no bran or germ. It doesn't have any flavor at all. It's just absorbing the flavors that you eat with it. You're just eating it for the texture. Might as well have rice, but it's causing you a problem. You can have it on a holiday, but in fact, you probably should never consume it. There's no reason to. Why not have long grain brown rice with a category 1 and 2 or 7 and 2 that you learned about? All right, we're going to stop. So before we close this discussion and get ready for the partner class at noon, here's how we're looking at something like rice. What would be better for fat burning? Miracle rice or white rice?
Miracle rice.
Miracle rice. What would be better, rice cauliflower or miracle rice?
Rice cauliflower?
Yeah, I would say rice cauliflower. It's more nutritious. Your weight loss might be better with miracle rice, but it's still going to be really good with rice cauliflower. So I would go that route. Long grain brown rice or lima beans. Which one would be better as a carbohydrate?
Lima beans.
Lima beans. Why?
That's what I was going to say too.
Why would they be better than long grain brown rice?
Well, your body has to work harder to break it down.
Yeah, more protein and fiber. I mean, that's the basics. You know, whatever we're eating, even if it's approved, the item with the more protein and fiber is going to be the better item, unless you have some sort of autoimmune issue or toxicity issue related to it. But that's it. That's a good one. Any questions or comments? Cheryl said, I bought a steak over the weekend and saw a crazy cheap steak next to the one I bought that said mock steak. Yeah, here we go. Just wait. We ain't seen nothing yet. Can we just all go find a territory and put our flag down and call it ours and just stay there? Like poor Peter said, I like being up here on this mountain with you, Lord. Don't make us go back down. Can we just build 3 tabernacles here? One for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah, and let us just stay here. At least no, you got to go back down there, minister to people. Questions, comments, anything before we go?
Great classes, Travis. This is really good stuff.
Thank you, Joy. It means a lot to me. I appreciate that. Really does. I hope we get the word out. Hope people will start coming or coming back and being a part of things. Anybody got anything before we go?
It really helps you to see all of them videos in a different way when we can sit down like this and go over them together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's really nice to put some life in a video with us all meeting and fellowshipping around it. And the good news is, if you love this sort of thing and you don't ever want it to end, other than my time, it just never ends. I learn new stuff almost every single day. It's amazing. And then it's also amazing at how our Shibboleth Shield supports everything that we learn. You're going to get it this month, Miss Mary. Everything is going according to plan, just not late. We said we start shipping June 1st. And yes, everything's going according to schedule, but on the end of the schedule, not the front of the schedule. Thank you, darling. Any questions or comments? Everybody good? Hearts and minds
What?
clear?
What?
All right.
Don't mind, Ronnie.
Yes, currently, we are accepting members. We're in a big transition period. But the memberships will continue. At least that's my hope and desire. Is $5 a month. You can cancel anytime for a standard membership to get the 3 levels: Fast Track, Journey, Tiger, all the recipes and whatnot. We are in a transition period. It looks like I'm going to try to do more private counseling so that I can stay in the industry. We'll see if there's a demand for that. And also our partners and Faithfully Fit members. We keep adding things for them and working on them. And we cannot survive without our partners and Faithfully Fit members. I'm going to try to talk Karen into doing a cool thing, because so many people really care about this program. And it means a lot to us. She sent me a picture of her yard with some boxes that were being shipped out, sitting in her yard. And I thought, that's a good progress photo, because, she had a little patch of grass and some boxes that she says, we're growing, we're getting orders. And I said, well, in a year, that might take up your whole front yard. So, we're building a new thing, and we appreciate all the support we're getting for the Shibby Shop. It all helps. It all helps. Are we to refer this as Shibboleth or Faithfully Fit? I think it's going to be just trust in the Lord, Sally. I will always wink at Shibboleth. Right now, that website's still there. I just don't own it. I'm the custodian of it right now. I have the keys. As long as everybody leaves me alone, I will leave it up for those lifetime members. And it'll be kind of just a ministry outlet. It'll be there with just the fast track, the recipes. But then we have Faithfully Fit, which is my company, and I got to build it from the ground up. So that's what we're doing. The good starting point for everybody right now is shibboleth still. Nothing that I teach has really changed other than nuance over the last 20 years. So fast track will always be the way to start. As we get more clarity legally and all that stuff, we'll be saying. So the legal situation has no bearing on people getting results. If we can just believe that we're not going to do nobody wrong, $5 a month, how can you do them wrong? Just have them get in there and mix it up with us, and let's start losing some weight. Faithfully Fit's going to be more of a premium. That's where the live classes will be hosted. That's where all the new private and one-on-one stuff will be hosted, etc. I picked up a couple of one-on-one clients. I'm really enjoying it, helping them personalize their stuff, virtual weigh-ins. Tomorrow we have the Battle Buddies at 1 and 2 have their virtual weigh-ins. They're killing it, doing good. Everybody good? Hearts and minds clear and free? We will be back live at noon with our partners and Faithfully Fit members for a deep dive talk. And until then, we'll just close out in a word of prayer if everybody's satisfied. All right. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in the earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread. Forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Love y'all in the Lord, and I'll see some of you at noon. Partners, Faithfully Fit folks. All right, bye, everybody.